We're going to have a question and answer period. You'll notice I said question and answer period, not speech and response period. You know, they're very different. Before I do it, though, I want to remind you, have they been passed out, Vince?
No, they haven't.
All right. Well, Vince is going to now pass out, and perhaps some of you will help him. There's two different letters that we talked about before that are going to go with Amnesty. That Amnesty is they're going to be sent on to the appropriate officials. This is part of Vince and our effort to secure a kind of status for him with Amnesty and to bring to the attention of the authorities in England that the eyes of the world and hopefully Amnesty are on them. So all you have to do is sign it. Vince, I think you wanted to sign it and also put your address, but just give it back to us, and then we'll take care of putting a stamp, mailing it, getting the right place, and everything else. So if you choose to do it, and this is obviously purely optional, we hope you will join us in doing that. Now, yeah, that's right. You'll see them when they come around too. All right, but before I do even that, open up this question and answer period, could we have a really warm round of applause for these? I've been in a lot of panels on a lot of different subjects, and the videos that Robert put together. I mean, this is not just because I've been a part of it. I've not, but partly that. No, I must say I've not been to a better one, and the fact that so many of you stayed on this rainy, miserable day, maybe you're just afraid to get wet. I don't know, but the fact that so many of you stayed, I thank you very much. So. Question in the back. Yes. Quiet here if we can. Question in the back.
Can this panel help us to understand the mindset of attorneys trained in the same principles of law, such as the impeachment defense attorneys, who have a completely different take on the Constitution, on international law, on rights of individuals?
As that relates to Assange?
Yes, because the mindset seems to be so different.
Robert? I'm sorry, what? What's being asked is, could perhaps one of the attorneys, and I was thinking one of the attorneys, perhaps you, Robert, not to put you're Assange's attorney, could answer the question why it is that attorneys like yourself and others who are at this panel clearly see the injustice of all this, clearly see that the law is being violated in a million different ways, and he was using the impeachment debate as an example. Can't see this where Assange is concerned. And in fact, if I can add to that with your permission, have there been a lot of attorneys coming to Assange's support and supporting what you and others are doing? Is there a microphone for Robert, please? Just pass it down.
Well, I guess I will take a shot at that. I certainly don't pretend to understand
No.
what many of the prosecutors who have touched this case may be thinking individually, and I also don't know whether they necessarily agree as individuals. They're doing a job for the Department of Justice, which has a policy perspective. I think Kerry really said it quite well when he said that they view the world in very black and white terms, and they have a statute, and by its terms of this incredibly broad statute, they believe that this conduct violates the statute. I think they also have a belief in their own benevolence, that they have this tremendous authority that they could charge the New York Times, but they haven't out of their largesse, and that somehow they're going to exercise that authority wisely and only go after individuals that they believe have crossed some line that only they get to determine. I think that is a very misguided viewpoint. I certainly hope that we will never have to test it in a court in the United States, but that if we do, the court will have a very different view as to whether or not it should be up to individual prosecutors to decide what type of speech the First Amendment allows and what type it does not.
All right. And Sharon Kyle, I think you wanted to respond to that as well?
Yeah, I just have a couple of words. Plessy v. Ferguson. Okay, so I think that we fool ourselves if we don't know that there are people that have already arrived at the conclusion that some people's lives matters and others don't.
Yeah.
And they'll use the law to promote their own view.
Thank you. Steve Roby, you want to respond as well?
In keeping with those comments, government lawyers and judges have historically in the United States and in other countries, including the Nazi lawyers and judges, towed the line of authoritarian governments. This should come as no surprise to anyone who has studied that history. There is currently a normalization of this kind of authoritarianism. There's a confirmation bias and a mob mentality in all of this that allows people to excuse themselves from other principles of ethics and morality and law in order to do the service of the state. And I think we're seeing that in spades.
Other questions? Yes, right here.
For those of us interested in supporting Julian Assange, can you tell us how we can stay involved and if there are more activities being taken
Good.
in the near future, especially in LA, what are they?
A question I didn't plant but wish I had. How can those of you that want to support Julian Assange and now be part of that, stay in touch with what movement there is and get involved in beyond what you've done today by coming here and signing these letters? Steve?
Well, you've seen the name on the screen of the Courage Foundation
Right.
throughout this program, and perhaps we've been remiss to not identify them clearly and encourage you to go to their website and support them. They are an independent organization formed for the defense of Julian Assange. In your materials, well, that has to do with donations. You should go to the Courage Foundation website for further information. And if you joined us today through Eventbrite,
Yes.
or if you signed up with your email address at the sign-up sheet when you arrive, you will receive a link to a full set of materials, many of which have been referred to today and cited, others of which have not, so that you not only can continue the education, the self-education, but share that information elsewhere. No one today made a more powerful point than Sharon in saying that knowledge is a necessary but not sufficient element for transparency, justice, and social change.
All right.
So the information you have today, the kinds of links we've given you, is exactly what you need to use.
Yes, and our videographer today has made the point. Excuse me, that's okay, you can. But our videographer said that people asking questions would be better off for our filming and everything if you do it from one of these side mics that have been set up now. So perhaps those of you that have your hands up might want to come up either on this side or on that side and line up with one of these mics, and I will call on you in order. Don't be shy, come on up and do that. What?
I just wanted to add to that. There will be also all the video that wasn't used here this afternoon will be viewable on this site.
And for those of you that are not able to get up, I haven't noticed, but there may be people in the room who are unable to do that. Raise your hand, and you'll come up. Yeah.